Today, we're going to talk about Olympic high jumping. We're going to talk about a faster way to finger your scales that will make them easier to play and easier to teach. And if we travel back in time to 1968, there was this American high jumper named Dick Fosbury. He revolutionized the sport, and he eventually won the gold medal in the Olympics that year. And what he did was he would jump as he approached the bar. He would just kind of twist his body around, and so that his whole body would go over the bar, but his back facing the bar, legs kind of tumbling behind him. Now, in this was pretty radical because nobody had ever done this type of approach, and it changed the way high jumpers approach the bar after this. Now, what does this have to do with scale playing? So if we also travel back in time, there's a good chance that when you started piano lessons and that day came for you to play your scales hands together, your teacher probably dutifully had you start with C major, because that seems like it's the easiest scale because it's all white notes. It's actually, I think, the hardest of all scales, which we'll talk about in a minute. So probably what happened was that your teacher had you do the standard fingering, which in the right hand is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the left hand, and this is where the problem lies, the left hand, the standard fingering would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So always groups of 3 and 4. Now, here's the hard thing about this scale, is that with that fingering, the problem is that the thumbs never align. So, and the hands are shifting at different times. And because it's all on white notes, it doesn't really fit the hands particularly well, since our hands are all, our fingers are all different lengths. And it doesn't really fit in terms of black or white notes, because there's not really a depth change. You're always playing on this outer part of the key, even though your fingers are all different sizes. So it's really an awkward scale to start. When I'm teaching scales, I actually always have my students start on C sharp major when they're doing hands together, or B major or F sharp, but C sharp's an easy place to do this. It's because it's a very easy fingering and it's really easy to grasp. You've got the 2 black notes with 2 and 3, thumbs only on the white notes, the 3 black notes with 2, 3, 4. So it's very easy, it fits the hands comfortably, and it's easy to visualize. Now, this is an easy scale, but we could apply the same fingering principle to other scales that don't normally use this fingering, and they become much, much easier. So again, all scale groupings are made of groups of 3 fingers and then 4 fingers. 3 fingers, 4 fingers. Sometimes they start mid-group, but they always use that alternation. Now, in the left hand of C major, instead of starting with 5, because really what you have is 5, which doesn't count because it's only used one time. Then we've got a group of 4, then 3, 4, 3, 4. But the problem is the right hand is also doing groups of 3 and 4, but it's doing that reverse. It's doing a group of 3, then a group of 4. And let's look at the left hand and see if we can make an adjustment in that fingering so that they're easier to line up. If we start with the 4th finger in the left hand and go to the thumb on F, really what's happening is that the 4th finger on C doesn't really count because it's only used one time. So really what I'm doing is my 4th finger, then a group of 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. And look what happens when you put hands together. My thumbs wind up together on F, then they wind up together on C. All the C's and F's, the thumbs are always together. This is going to make it a lot faster and easier to visualize as a kind of benchmark to see if your fingering is correct. So it also makes it faster to play because you can shift at the same time. This same fingering works for the first 5 scales on the circle of fifths: C, G, D, A, and E. Let's just go through those. So G major, again, start on 4th finger in the left hand, go to the thumb on C, go to 4 in the left hand on D, thumbs together on G, thumbs together on C, thumbs together on G. I can do the same thing with D major and A major and E major, and I can also do the same thing with their minor scale components. Now, the amazing thing is I can do the same fingering with I think 3 of the harder scales, which would be B flat, E flat, and A flat. Actually, I can do it with 2 of those scales. So with E flat, traditionally we would start on 3rd finger, so we'd have a group of 3 and a group of 4, 3, 4. But if I start on 2nd finger, I can put my thumbs together on F, thumbs together on C. So my left hand has 3, 2, 1, right hand, left hand 4, 3, 2, 1. I should note that my right hand fingering is not changing from the standard fingering that you have probably learned. So this gets to stay the same. Left hand of B flat major, I do the same thing. So if I start on B flat with 2, then I go to a group of 4. So 4 on D. Now, here's the hard thing. If you're like me, I spent a lot of my life playing the other fingering, maybe, actually multiple decades. But this guy, this high jumper, he completely changes the sport. He's able to get more height more consistently with more ease. So why wouldn't it change? I'm convinced that at some point, maybe starting right now, this will become hopefully the new standard fingering that is taught, that is practiced. Work on that and you will get speed and ease, and when you're teaching these scales, you will be shocked at how much faster this works. Playing scales hands together is really, it's 4 times harder than playing hands separate. There's a lot going on, but when you can make these alignments of the thumb, it will be much easier.